Good morning. Good morning, EagleNick audits. How is everyone doing this fine Monday morning? Good morning, EagleNick audits here. How are you doing today? Now I have the troll leader here with me this morning. Now the troll leader just loves them old nasty hairy trolls. And them old nasty hairy trolls just seems to love EagleNick audits. It is a very hot and humid day this morning in Dalton, Georgia. How are you all doing this fine day? Let me see if I can't get her set up better there. There we go. That way everybody gets to see that there pterodactyl too. Oh, it's eye in the sky. EagleNick know when there's a po-po fixing to pass by. You know what I mean? How is everyone doing this morning? Roar! Good morning. Welcome to the EagleNick Audits live stream brought to you live this Monday morning, July. I think it might be the 22nd, but I'm not for sure. Anybody know? Anybody gonna comment this morning? We're gonna have an open discussion this morning. EagleNick wants to hear what everybody else would like to talk about. We were going to consider this a meet and greet. So everybody come on in and take a seat. And if you have something that you would like to talk about, just open your mouth and let it come out, so to speak. You know, I know you got to type it into the comments, but feel free to do so. Good morning, Endeavor. How are you doing this morning? Now, EagleNick would like to have an open discussion with anybody who would like to discuss anything. That is good, Endeavor. EagleNick is doing pretty good also. It is very hot and humid in Dalton, Georgia this morning. The sun has crested the sky, and just for about 40 minutes that I've been outside, it has got real hot. Good morning, Marcos. How are you doing? So glad to see you this morning. We're having an open discussion. Anything that y'all would like to talk about. Well, Nathan Day, I'm not very hard to find. Come on down and find me. I'm at the Al Rollins Park in Dalton, Georgia, right off Threadmill Road. Now, you might want to come and find me, but I'll tell you what, I still won't mind you. You can say what you want, but you can't do what you want. You know what I mean? I'm not staying hid. Big Man Japan, how are you doing this morning? EagleNick Audits is happy to see you this morning. Toodles, go buy you some ramen noodles, or go pet some poodles, or draw yourself some doodles. You know what I mean? EagleNick will be sitting here waiting, so come on down. All you gotta do is Google Al Rollins Park. Brother, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you, Nathan O'Day. Come on down. Do you hear what I say? I'm not a young blood. I happen to be 57 years old. I'm not a whippersnapper. I happen to be an old man. Unless you're 90 to 100 years old, you shouldn't be calling me a whippersnapper. EagleNick Audits is not a whippersnapper. I happen to be the troll trapper. I set traps for them there trolls who like to come on the EagleNick Audits shows. You know what I mean? Just a random human. How are you doing, just a random human? Roar. This is the land before time, where dinosaurs rule the land. All because we can. And that is sort of a little bit offensive that you want to come in and start talking about people who are autistic. What do you have against people that are autistic, if I may ask? I'm blabbering about why you would want to come in here and start talking about people who are autistic. What do you have against people who are autistic? This is an open discussion, just a random human. You may be a random human, but you do not have normal human decency. You know what I mean? A man, healthy, joyful life. There is nothing wrong with people who are autistic. Now, EagleNick is not autistic, but I have known people who are, and I do feel it is offensive when talk about people who are less fortunate that they may happen to be. They do not see that they are blessed, but want to put down people who has it worse than they may have. Oh, baby, let me be your loving teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be, oh, let him be your teddy bear. I just want to be your teddy bear. Love me tender, love me true. Take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Now, EagleNick loves everybody. Thank you, Healthy Joyful Life. I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody. Hey, EagleNick Audits even appreciates all of them trolls because you see my troll leader there, he has to eat too. And the troll leader only eats trolls. Just a random human. Now, I've warned you about your offensive comments. Now, Eagle Nick Audits has stated that I believe in and I do support free speech. But when someone comes in talking hate speech, saying stuff like that about somebody who is autistic, I feel like, you know what I mean? That is very offensive to people who are autistic and the parents of children who are autistic. Now, I'd like to apologize to you, Healthy, Joyful Life, for that comment being said by someone who is so insensitive to the parents of children who are autistic. Now, you can say goodbye to just a random human because EagleNick Audits is going to show them the business end of my here Crocs that I proudly wear without any socks. Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey, goodbye. Everybody say goodbye to the random, just a random human because they will not be coming back. Now, y'all know I've stated over and over. Well, Endeavor, when they are saying stuff that is offensive to people who happen to be autistic, or that is offensive to the parents of children who happen to be autistic. Now, when they say something like, oh, they do need frequent baths, they are not saying that with love in their hearts. They are only trying to stir up controversy, and they are only trying to cause people to feel hurt and to be offended because of their rude and selfish and obnoxious comments. When someone is doing that, they are doing nothing but spewing hatred that they have built up within their hearts. Now, EagleNick audits does not allow people, even under the banner of free speech, which is a First Amendment protected right, a First Amendment protected activity. I have stated numerous times that I do support free speech. But when someone comes on to my live streams spewing such hatred and disrespect, talking about people who are autistic and saying stuff that would be offensive to the parents of autistic children, then EagleNick audits will show them the door and make sure that they cannot come in anymore. You know what I mean? Now, I did not hide just a random human out of spite or because of anything that they said about EagleNick, because EagleNick audits is not autistic. I may be a little bit artistic because I have a artistic mind, which allows me to think on my own. I do not have to have somebody tell me what to think, how to think, or when to think. Brother, I hate to tell you, but dinosaurs was a real creature. They were not created by our Creator. They were the creatures. Their DNA was changed just like the DNA of man when the Watchers left over watching man and came down onto the earth and took the daughters into them and had children with them. And those children were giants. Now, they corrupted the DNA of man, but they also corrupted the flesh of every creature that the Lord had created. Now, that is why God destroyed everything on this earth that had breath within its body with the great flood. God is omnipresent. God has always been. There was no one who created him, brother. Mr. Endeavor, I appreciate you, sir, and I pray that you have a blessed day and a blessed evening as well. Stay safe, and I love you, and take care of yourself. Good day, mate. Crocodile EagleNick here saying have a good day there. Well, if you ever go in the woolly swamp, well, you better not go at night. There's things out there in the middle of the woods make a strong man cry for pride. There's things that crawl and things that fly and things that creep around on the ground. And to say the ghost of a Lucius Clay gets up and he walks around, but I couldn't believe it. I just had to find out for myself because I couldn't conceive it. Because I never would listen to nobody else, and I couldn't believe it. I just had to find out for myself, because some things in this world you just can't explain. So what's everybody want to talk about this morning? What are your thoughts on that, G1? Or GT, rather. I thought that was a 1, but it says GT. How are you doing this morning, GT? How are you doing this morning, Cottage? Sean Stafford, how are you doing? Glad to see you here. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment on every video, short, and live stream, past live stream that you possibly can or will. And when the shorts, the videos, and live streams are playing, EagleNick asked if you would to let the ads play. Now, EagleNick Audits does have super thanks, and they are people who voluntarily send EagleNick Audits super thanks. But EagleNick thinks that y'all are the ones who are super, and I thank y'all. I do not ask for money. I do not solicit money. All I ask is that people will let the ads play from my shorts feeds, watch page ads, short feeds ads, so that way I can receive pay from YouTube because they receive pay from the advertisers who they place those ads for in shorts, videos, and live streams. Now, EagleNick does have the option that I could have set up memberships at the same time that I set up the supers and the watch page ads. But EagleNick has not set up memberships because someone having to pay to watch my shorts, my videos, or my live streams would restrict the access to people who are poor that do not have the money to pay for a membership, or people who does have the money to pay for a membership but does not have a way to pay for anything electronically, because there is a lot of people that is like EagleNick Audits that does not trust the banks. Now, I do have a Cash App and I do have PayPal, but I do not trust the banking system, because your money, when it is put in banks, even though it is supposed to be drawing interest and it is supposed to be protected by the FDIC, your money is loaned out to people. Your money is invested into the stock market, which is very volatile, that could go up or go down at any time, that could crash and cause all of the money that is invested in stocks to be lost. Now, when that happens, that does not hurt the banks. That hurts the people who has their money in that bank trying to save it or draw interest from their savings. You know, people don't usually put their money in a bank knowing that their money is going to be loaned out and could be lost. Now, they say that it is insured by the federal government, but when something happens like we have had in the past few years, and when banks closed down. Big Dog, good morning. How are you doing? Are you talking about inflation, like how a gallon of milk is nearly double what it used to be, or how a price of eggs is double, or how gasoline is over double, twice as expensive as it used to be? Joe Biden calls it Bidenomics, but we call it Bidenflation. And that is because it does not hurt the rich people because we have inflation. It only helps the rich, but it hurts the poor. Inflation comes from greedy people. They they say that our country is facing inflation the way it is because manufacturing went down so much. But the thing about it is, they shut our country down completely, halting and stopping all manufacturing. And then they intentionally gave everybody a stimulus, saying they were going to stimulate the economy, flooding all that money into the economy, knowing very well that people buying up everything there was because all of a sudden they have this money. They knew that it was going to cause a supply issue. They knew that there was nothing new being manufactured. It was all a part of a plan to only help the rich get richer and put more of this country under the control of the federal government. There is more people now this year than ever in the history of the United States who is completely dependent on the federal government for their food or to pay their power bill or to pay their water bill. You know, you have to realize if you have to depend on our government for your livelihood, for everything that you happen to get, then when they cut it off, you will do anything that government tells you to do in order to keep those benefits. Good morning, Miss Amy Loy. How are you doing this morning? I'm so glad to see you. Big Dog, you know why they did away with the gold standard? Because already by the 1950s, the United States of America was so far in debt that we did not have enough gold to cover all of our debt and all of the currency that they had in production. Now, we probably have 10 times as much debt and 50 times as much currency in circulation than we had in the 1950s. That is why our currency is not really worth the paper that it is printed on. Our currency now is backed by the petrodollar. And that is because every country in the world has to buy their oil, their gas, all petroleum products with American currency. That is why they had Saddam Hussein executed, because Saddam Hussein had took Iraq off of the petrodollar and had placed Iraq back on the gold standard. There is not enough gold in this world, and I did say the world, that could cover the massive amount of debt that the United States is in, much less all of the currency that we have in circulation. Well, big dog, I'm going to tell you, there's only one way that the world's problems with currency will ever be fixed, is when our governments gets exactly what they are pushing so hard to achieve. And that is where they say, oh, we want to unify the world. We want to make the world a better place for everybody, for the whole human race. And that is when they usher in the new world order with one global currency, with one world government. And that is a bad thing. Good morning, Coleman. How are you doing this morning? We are having an open discussion. So feel free, if you have anything that you would like to talk about, feel free to let us all know, and let's have a discussion about anything that happens to be on your mind. Good morning, Mr. Good Time. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Big dog, for what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world, yet loses his own soul? The Bible says, lay up not treasures on the earth where moths, rust, and thieves. The moths can destroy, the rust can decay, and the thieves can steal, but to lay up treasure in heaven. Because everything on this earth is temporary. It will not last forever. Only your soul will last forever. And the only thing that is really important in your life is where your soul will spend eternity. Will it spend eternity in the presence of the Creator who created us and all things? Or will your soul spend eternity in darkness? And the darkness is all because not being in the presence of the Creator. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places, principalities and powers and dominions. And that does not mean the high places that is in our governments. It is talking about when Lucifer and his followers who rebelled against God to try to help Lucifer set up his throne above God, they were cast from God's presence into a spiritual realm between heaven and earth. That is why he is called the prince of the power of the air. Now that is where all of our technology has came from. If you want to know what you can really do, EagleNick Audit says to pray. Pray every single day. Do not just pray for yourselves. Pray for all of God's creation. Good morning, Alan Davis. How are you doing this morning? Good morning. First Amendment Audit. I cannot really see what the first letters. WP. First Amendment Audit. Good morning to you, W. How are you doing? So glad to see you. Good morning, elongated muskrat. So glad to see you in again. I'm having trouble getting it set back up now. I had this bad boy setting up real good, but I just can't get it right now. I'm doing great. What does the first part of it stand for, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, VIP. I see what it now. I see it now. I thought it said WP. I didn't see the space in between it. VIP. Thank you for joining us, VIP First Amendment Audit. This is the first time I have ever seen you in here. That is exactly right, big dog. That is what the New World Order is a total reset. You have to understand, they want to reset the world to make it as they want it to be. Our world government denies God's existence because they want all of mankind to not believe in the Creator. Listen, y'all hear that plane? Now that is a plane that just flew over. I hope we didn't have no interference with the live stream just then. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, a crocking all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, a crocking all the time. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. That goes out to all them trolls that wants to come on to the EagleNick Audits live streams. Look, I got a question I want to ask everybody. Hey, that's super cool, VIP. You play guitar. Now, EagleNick, I can't pick an instrument. I can pick my nose and pick a fight, but that's about all. Have y'all heard the news that Nikki Haley, a super PAC that was endorsing Nikki Haley to try to win the Republican nomination to try to defeat Donald John Trump for the nomination to be the Republican running for president in 2024. Now, they have stated that super PAC is now endorsing Kamala Harris instead of endorsing a fellow conservative, Donald John Trump, who just seeks to make America great again. Can anybody tell me why the Democrats has such hate for Mr. Donald John Trump? All because he seeks to make America a great nation again, to make us not dependent on foreign countries for our precious metals or our food or anything that we need in our daily lives. What is so wrong with wanting to put America first? For by putting Americans first, Donald John Trump seeks to help the citizens of the United States of America before we go sending our money to foreign countries, which is exactly what the United States Constitution is all about. Now, the president and everybody in our government swears an oath to defend and to protect the Constitution and to protect the rights, the constitutional rights of we the people. Now, no matter what anybody says about Donald John Trump, yes, Donald John Trump did a lot of things before he was president. Donald John Trump said a lot of things that was hurtful to the Democrats when he was running for the presidency in 2016. But it was the truth. And it is, as the saying goes, the truth hurts. Hey, I'm here to tell y'all right now that it does not matter who ends up being the president. There is nobody on this earth that can save this earth from the judgment that it faces. Because the Holy Bible states that the Creator of all things, the Lord God, will destroy the earth with fervent heat. That does not mean that God is going to allow man to destroy this earth with a nuclear weapon or a nuclear weapon. You do not have to be in fear that the president of North Korea is going to destroy us. You have to realize if North Korea attacked the United States, it would cause the United States to retaliate with nuclear weapons, and all the other countries of the world would start nuking each other, thereby just obliterating the United States, wiping, not just the United States, but each other, just totally destroying the earth. And that is not going to happen. We do not have to fear nuclear weapons. The Bible says when they're saying peace, peace, that is when we should all beware. Are we rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell? With no hope, no chance for the flag or the Liberty Bell. Let's make a Ford and a Chevy that'll still last 10 years like it should. Are the best of the good times behind us now? Are the good times really over for good? Now, Merle Haggard sang that song very many years ago, and I'm here to tell you that the United States is not dead. We are alive and well. Now, Donald John Trump did exactly what he said he would during his first term as president. He did make America great again. He had us on the course that America needed to take. And unless you were living under a rock or smoking a rock, you would have seen how the country was standing during Donald John Trump's term as president. Even though the Democrats was paying, financing, and supporting all the people who were burning stuff to the ground, who were looting stores. Now, they call it looting, but the Bible calls it stealing. Thou shalt not steal. While they were killing police officers, they were doing all things in the name of the Democrats, saying that they wanted a better life for their kids. How is going out burning stuff to the ground, stealing from major retailers, causing them retailers to have to close down those stores, causing so many different businesses to have to cease to exist? How could that be any way, shape, or form a means to make this country better? Think how this country would be standing now under the 4 years of Donald John Trump's leadership if the Democrats had have stood behind Donald John Trump instead of trying to tear him down at every point. The day Donald John Trump was being inaugurated, being sworn in as President of the United States of America, the Democrats was paying for and supporting illegal immigrants, burning stuff in the streets of Washington, D.C., no more than 2 miles away from where Donald John Trump was being inaugurated. They supported women wearing hats that looked like a vagina, protesting, burning stuff in the streets. having little kids cussing, saying all kind of foul things about Donald John Trump, all to divide this country. They seek to divide us by race, by sex, and by socio-economic status. They want the poor to hate the rich and the rich to hate the poor. But EagleNick out it says, there is time for that no more. We need to stand up for each other and do not try to tear each other down. There is many people who needs help that would not ask for it if they were taking their last breath. Now, EagleNick audits in the past has went hungry more than a few times because I will not and did not and do not ask people for money. I do not think that it is anybody else's job to take care of me. I rely on my Creator. I do not ask people for money through super thanks because I think that y'all are the ones who are super. The only thing that EagleNick asks is if people will let the ads play. That way I can receive money directly from YouTube. Now, a 3-minute ad, some of them are that long on the videos, might pay me 50 cents. And to most people, 50 cents is not nothing. But to somebody who doesn't have anything and who does not ask people for money, it all adds up. I did not start doing First Amendment audits to try to get rich. I only started doing what I do because I witnessed a homeless lady having her rights violated. All because she was trying to take care of herself by exercising one tenet of the First Amendment, which is free speech by panhandling, swallowing her pride to ask for money so that she could eat, so that she could take care of herself. Because she is in a situation like so many homeless people are. She does not have any type of photograph ID, She does not have a social security card. She does not have access to her birth certificate. Because in our country, for you to obtain anyone a birth certificate, a driver's license, picture ID, or a social security card, you have to have the others. Or you have to have something from a mailing address. Now, somebody who lives on the street does not have a mailing address. They do not have access to be able to obtain a picture ID or driver's license or a social security card or a birth certificate. Yet our government penalizes them because they do not have those things. No, sir, Derek, this is the American Eagle. Did you know that the American eagle is our national bird that represents the United States of America? I happen to be EagleNick Audits because I stand up for America. I stand up for the United States Constitution. I stand up for we the people, but I also stand up for the entire human race because the Creator, the Lord God, created us all in His image after His likeness. It is our government that wants to divide us, to have us all hating each other because we may have a different color of skin or we may speak a different language. And that is only because united we stand, but divided we fall. That does not just mean Americans. That means all of the people on the face of the earth. If they can keep us all divided by the words that they say, the things that they tell us each and every day, they seek to gain total control, not of just us, but of this earth itself. They charge us for our water that we drink. They charge us taxes for the food we have to buy. They charge us taxes for gasoline that people needs to be able to go to work. They take money out of people's paychecks that allows them to work, calling it an income tax. They take money from Americans and the people of the world, and yet they will not give it back to the ones they're taking it from. They put most of it back in their pockets or they send it somewhere else. Why do you think the United States sends so much money to Ukraine to fight a war? It is because there is so many kickbacks coming back off that money that is going into someone else's pockets, but it is not coming back to the American people. It is not coming back to the countries that is sending the money. It is not coming back to their citizens. It is coming back to people within those governments. Everything the governments of this world is doing is all about control. They seek to control the world. They seek to control every single person on the face of the earth. They make people pay taxes to be able to live, to be able to work, to be able to eat, to be able to drink water, to be able to have power. Everything you do, there is even a death tax where they charge a tax to the families of people who dies. If a person leaves a lot of wealth to their family, they get charged. That family has to pay taxes on that money that has already been taxed so many times. Oh man, there's a little bird over here on that garbage can. It sounded like a daggum kitty cat. It has to be a mockingbird, and I would try to show it to you, but there's a vehicle pulled up over there, and I don't want to record anybody. That is absolutely true. They will take everything you got. Now, the IRS is one of those branches of the federal government, and they will take everything an American citizen's got because they owe the IRS taxes. Yet at the same time, the Democrats under the Biden administration wants to forgive billions of dollars in student debt. Now, you have to realize they took out a student loan where they got the money for their education from the federal government, which came out of American taxpayers' money. So our federal government did not pay for those educations. They did not fund those student loans. It was the American taxpayers who paid in the taxes that our federal government loaned to those students. And who do you think that it hurts if that money is not repaid? It does not hurt our federal government because they receive billions and trillions of dollars in taxes every single year, new taxes. They do not have to worry about the money that they had received from taxpayers and they loaned out to people to get an education. What good is an education if by obtaining that so-called education, you cannot make the money to pay back your student loan? What good did it do someone to get educated? You know what I mean? There is too many states, like the state of Georgia, that it does not matter how well educated you actually are. It is not going to get you a well-paying job because Georgia is an at-will work state, not a right-to-work state. That keeps Georgia's average employment hourly wage but at or below what should be legal. Now, the federal minimum wage is just $7.25 an hour. How do you think someone can live on $7.25 an hour if they only work 40 hours a week, which is the average work week hours in the United States of America? That is only $72.50 per 10 hours. That is only $280, $282 a week. How could someone live on $282 a week? And that would be before taxes. You would still have to pay taxes on that. No, they cannot live like that. That is the people that has to depend on the government for food stamps. Has to depend on them to help them with their power bills, their water bills, to help them live, because that $282 a week does not even cover their living expenses, much less what it takes them to actually live. And like I have been saying the whole time, that is only to keep those people under the control of the government, to make them, to force them to be dependent on the government for their survival. Y'all bear with me for just a minute. I'm going to take me a drink of this here Pepsi. Pepsi, it's a choice of the new generation. Pepsi, we love you. EagleNick Audits loves Pepsi. Go out and get you one of them ice cold Pepsi Colas and a bag of Frito-Lay potato chips. You know what I mean? Have yourself a good old time. And if you happen to live in the state of Georgia, go out and buy you some of them there Georgia lottery tickets. EagleNick Audits bought him one of these $50,000 jumbo cash tickets, and you'll see I've still not scratched it off yet. So maybe I can get blessed to win me $50,000 cash. They also have a second chance drawing. See back for a chance to win trucks and bucks. Now it says you can win from $500 to a 2024 F-150 Lariat truck to visit the Georgia Lottery second chance drawing. EagleNick Audits. Buy you some of them Georgia Lottery tickets. Now, EagleNick also bought him a Lotteria, and the top prize on it happens to be $40,000. Now, EagleNick would be all right just to win back a ticket, but it sure would be nice to win that $40,000. And you can see EagleNick has not scratched it yet. Now, I've had this ticket I've been on the live stream for an hour and 10 minutes. So I've had the ticket for over an hour and a half, and I have yet to scratch it. You see at the top, it says players are winning. Details on back. They have a QR code right here you can scan, and it will tell you how many people have been winning on that there ticket. It won't tell you if that there ticket is a winner, but EagleNick would rather be able to scratch it off and it be a winner than scan a QR code, which is a quick response code in case people still wants to think EagleNick Audits is just a stupid hillbilly. Because like I said, I am a hillbilly, but I did get one of them there edgy mocations. You know what I mean? If you will check out my YouTube channel, you can actually see a short that EagleNick Audits has put on his YouTube page yesterday that happens to show EagleNick in 1993 in his cap and gown. See, EagleNick does not brag just because he did receive that there education, because that education never did EagleNick Audits any good other than just obtaining it. Because, you know, you can tell them, hey, I've got an education. They ain't going to say, oh, boy, we going to pay you more money than we normally do just because you got an education. You know what I mean, Bird? You know, just because you know how to drive a big truck, they ain't going to give you more money working at Hardee's. No, it's a EDUMOCATION, a edumocation. That means they think they are more educated than someone else. Everybody says, you can tell he doesn't have an education, but I actually do have an edumocation. I may not be as educated as them there bootlicking trolls, you know, but that's because I did not borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars from my federal government to go to a college to get a degree that would not earn another penny for me than what the state of Georgia allows all the employers to pay. You know what I mean, Vern? Did you hear what I say? You can't cut grass with a pair of scissors. Brett, the only way a college grad is doing better than your son is they're getting the federal government to pay their education for them. You know, they borrowed money that the American taxpayers paid in. The federal government gave them a loan, and then they said, oh, you ain't got to pay it back. We're going to pay that there for you. Just be sure to vote for Democrats. You know what I mean, Vern? Why do you actually think the Biden administration is pushing so hard for all the stuff they push for? They pushing for student debt relief so they keep the students voting for Democrats. You know, telling somebody you're going to do something like that just to get them vote for you, that's called kickbacks. That's called official misconduct. That's receiving something for what you're supposed to do anyway. You know, it's their job to take care of the American people. It is not their job to take money from the American people and to pay off people's debts when they have received an education that should have allowed them to attain a much higher paying job according to our federal government. They got like, oh, you need to get you one of them there educations. That way you can make so much more money than you would if you didn't get an education. You know what I mean, Vern? And they receive so much money. If they're receiving so much money, what they do with it? Because they damn sure ain't paying for that education. The federal government is wanting to pay it for them, all in the name of getting that dar vote. Let's see. Wise men say that only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. There's not a whole lot our government does that makes any sense. The only sense it makes is in them coin sense, the money sense. It don't make common sense. Now, I just want to let everybody know that EagleNick is down to his last cigarette. My pack is empty now. 24/7 Red 100s box. And if them trolls don't like it, well, they can kick rocks. You know what I mean? I'm fixing to light this last here cigarette, and then I guess I'm going to have to get ready to head on back up to the Eagle's nest. We have not seemed to have as many trolls come in here today, but EagleNick Audit says, hey, that's okay. It don't bother me at all. I'm glad they finally found them another bridge to go play under. Boy, Derek, you said a mouthful there, because people just do not know. If they think 4 years of Joe Biden has been bad, Lord have mercy on the United States of America if Kamala Harris, the cackling hyena, was to somehow obtain the office of President of the United States. That will be the end of the United States of America as we know it. That will be the end of the United States Constitution. And that will be a very sad day, not just for the United States of America. That will be a sad day for this whole earth that we all live on. If you are registered to vote, make sure you go and vote. Don't throw your vote away voting for the independent RFK, because there is no way the independent RFK will defeat Donald Trump. But if there is too many people throws their votes away voting independent, it could allow Kamala Harris to end up getting more votes than Donald John Trump and allowing her to secure the presidency, and we cannot afford that. It is time for the United States of America to unite. That means UNITE. That means it is time that the American people joins forces together and votes for Donald John Trump, no matter how much you may hate the man personally. Look how good the United States was under Donald John Trump's first term as president. I'm not talking about all the chaos, the looting, the rioting, all the arson going on, because all of that was bought and paid for by the Democrats. They set up bail funds to get them protesters, mostly peaceful protesters, is what Senator Kamala Harris stated at that time. She said that she thinks that they should not stop protesting while Donald John Trump was the president. She supported the people who was committing all the crimes all over the United States of America during Donald John Trump's term as president. She was a member of a bail fund group who bailed out all them peaceful protesters so that they could get back on the streets to continue all of the things that they were doing that was bought and paid for by the Democrats to try to destroy Donald John Trump's presidency, to try to destroy the people of the United States' faith in him as president. Even though the Democrats bought and paid for all the things that went on, the United States was in a better shape for not just the rich people, as the Democrats said when Donald John Trump passed the tax reforms. Now, EagleNick Audits is one of those people at that time who was the poorest of the poor, making under $99,000 a year, $99,000 a year and under. The standard deduction on your taxes was $6,900 before Donald Trump became president. After Donald John Trump became president, it almost doubled to 12,000 something. I do not know the exact amount, but that meant when EagleNick was working for one of the richest men in Dalton, Georgia, making $10 an hour and being called self-employed by that man because he did not want to put people on his payroll. He did not want to have to match their Social Security. He did not want to have to put them on his insurance or his workers' comp insurance. That when EagleNick Audits reached the amount of money that he was allowed to make before he started paying $3.50 of that $10 an hour, that I would have to quit my job because I do not work for $6.50 an hour. But after Donald John Trump became president, I could work for twice as long and make nearly twice as much before I would have to quit again anyway. Because as I said, I do not work for $6.50 an hour. I am an American citizen who deserves to be treated the same as everybody else. The way our governments runs this country is running this country into the ground. Now, there was a lady that just went up to those restrooms with a little girl that act like she needed to use the bathroom real bad. And she found out, as I've shown so many times in my past live streams, that they keep those bathrooms locked 24 hours a day so that the poorest of the poor who bring their kids to these playgrounds cannot get access to a restroom. Now, that is shameful and disrespectful to the poor people, the poor citizens of Dalton, Georgia, Whitfield County, to make them have to take their little kids over into the bushes to be subject to getting fleas on them or chiggers on them, or possibly even being bit by some type of spider or snake that lives in the grass. Do you know what I mean? Dalton Parks and Recreation Center, y'all need to get these bathrooms opened up here under this main shed at the Al Rollins Park. Quit denying the poor public access to the bathrooms. If not, you at least need to put up 2 porta toilets so that these people has access to a restroom. That is shameful and disrespectful of y'all, and EagleNick Audits is calling you out. It is time you start treating all people the same, not just those big shots that's got the money to let their kids come up there and play ball, to pay y'all a fee to be on your league ball teams. It is time you learn to treat all people the same and with respect. Now, I love you all, and I'm afraid it's time that I'm gonna have to get ready to haul. Good morning. Now, these fellas are back doing their job. They do a good job. Hey, brother, can I ask you a question? Could you find out for us how come they keep these bathrooms locked up all the time? You see that lady right here in this van? She had a little girl come over here look like she was about to use the bathroom on herself. And they've always got these bathrooms locked where people can't get there and use the bathroom. Now, I'm sure them bathrooms up at that building where them expensive ball fields is, when they got them rich people up there playing ball, them little kids get there and use the bathroom. That ain't right just because these people are poor and want to bring their kids to the playground. They've not got access to that bathroom. We appreciate them finally killing all these bees before they sting somebody. But I'm going to go over here and show y'all one more time. I'm just showing because those ladies over there, one of their little kids needed to use this restroom. And these fellas here don't have nothing to do with bathrooms being locked, but maybe they can let Dalton Parks and Recreation know and be aware that it is time they be fair to everybody and they unlock these damn bathrooms so that when people comes over here and got kids that needs to use the restroom, they can get in there and use the bathroom just the same way as them big shot well-to-do people that pays them money for their kids to be able to play ball. Now that shit ain't fair. And that ain't right. And it's about time, Dalton Parks and Recreation Center, you better start doing your damn job and make this shit right. You know what I mean? It ain't right the way them damn big shots in this Dalton government treat the poor people. Don't want to let them damn use the bathroom, but they make sure up there where the ball field was, if you just saw it, they make sure that those bathrooms are open because they don't want them big shots to have to go jump in their car and rush their little kids somewhere to use the bathroom. They damn sure don't want them to have to take them over there into bushes or down there by the creek like that poor lady had to do her little girl to take a chance on their kids getting bit by ticks or getting chiggers on them or getting bit by a spider or getting bit by a snake. Oh, Lord, no, they wouldn't want that. There's no way in the world. But they don't give a rat's ass about the poor people who bring their kids up here to this end of the park, that it's more for the poor and not for the rich. It is time for the Dalton Parks and Recreation Department to quit being such a little bitch. You know what I mean. Now, EagleNick Audits would like to apologize for using that word and that term. But I've said before, I give the same respect that is given. Now it is time for them to respect all people and treat them the same. Quit denying the poor people access to a restroom. That is shameful. What if that had been your little girl that had to use the bathroom? What if they had urinated or defecated all over themselves, all because they were not allowed to get inside this restroom? Dalton Parks and Recreation Department spends millions of dollars every single year on these ball fields, these soccer fields, all the different athletic stuff they support. Yet they cannot have a bathroom that is accessible by the public here at the picnic tables in the main parking lot at the Al Rollins Park. That is completely shameful. I mean, they do not even have a porta toilet. They keep the restrooms locked over at the Lakeshore Park, Ken White Indoor Practice Field, the Dalton State College soccer team's practice fields, yet they do have one single porta toilet, but they do not even allow the public access to a bathroom at all here at the Al Rollins Park, unless it is a big shot, well-to-do citizens of Dalton and Whitfield County who happen to pay the Dalton Parks and Recreation Department a fee for their kids to play ball up there on them ball fields. It is time for a real change in the way our government thinks, not the type of change Barack Hussein Obama talked about he was going to give this country. Because he sure did not change this country for the better. Well, Derek, that would be vandalism. That would be criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less, or damage of $500 or more, whichever it happened to be, which they tried to say. If they said you did less than 500 or more than 500. And nobody shouldn't have to use a crowbar to go into a bathroom. It is called a bathroom, not a crow room, you know what I mean? But I love you all, and I pray you all have a super blessed day. Take care of yourself, but make sure you take care of each other. Now, I hear the sirens are screaming. I don't know which way they're going or what they're knowing. They could be coming down here for all I know. But that's not the reason that I got to go. I've been on here for an hour and 38 minutes. Now, EagleNick out it's going to have to head on up to the Eagle's Nest because like that little girl that needed to use that bathroom so bad, EagleNick is starting to realize that it won't be long that I will need a restroom myself. And EagleNick is not going to step off down there next to the creek or over there in the bushes like that lady had to take her poor little kid to do. I'm just going to go on up to my house. But if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Hit that notification bell. And if you will, please, when you watch my shorts, my videos, and my past live streams, please let the ads play. That is how EagleNick Audits makes a few pennies every day directly from YouTube because of the ads the advertisers pay to YouTube. EagleNick loves you all. I do not ask anyone for money. I do have super thanks, but I think you all are super. I do have people who sometimes during my live streams voluntarily send EagleNick super thanks, super chats, or super stickers. You know, I also have super thanks when people is watching the videos and the live streams the videos and the shorts that they could buy a super thanks. But I do not ask people for money. I do not solicit money. All I ask is give me a chance to make a little bit of money every day from the ads that plays on the videos and the shorts. I love you all like no other. I consider you all my sister and brother. Take care of each other and take care of yourself. If you see somebody that needs help, don't turn a blind eye to them. Don't turn a deaf ear. One day, you never know, it could be you or somebody you love. And would you want people just to ignore them? You never know what it's going to be like tomorrow. You could be the one that's facing that sorrow. EagleNick Audits. I am EagleNick. And I'm out.